Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of Playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So next week's event, which will be starting in about a day, is called The Loss of Love. And before we actually take a look at the card previews, what I wanted to do is take a second and just, reflect on the previous Vault events that we all went through. Now, I know that many of us have, gotten a lot of really good cards, and that was really awesome. And what I wanted to talk about is, now that we have these cards, you can actually use this to effectively take out any of the forge bosses. So if that was something that you haven't done yet, now's the time to go in and take the deck and go up against the forge boss. So let's go and try against one. I actually just tried one earlier to test it out, and it was really easy. So let's go ahead and go against Tiny Trouble here. And what I will do is take a look at any of my friends that still have the ultra rare card up, the Thrall. And because there are quite a bit, so let's go and pick one from Harold John. And so hopefully what you've done is you've also maxed out your cards from all the potions that you've received from the vault, because it really does boost up your damage there. So this is my setup with Thrall, 2 ultra rare cards, God's Flesh, 1 Narfunk, and also 1 Victus. I ran out of mana to awaken all of my cards, but right now I have 1 awakened Narfunk and Victus that's awakened twice. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So depending on the number of turns, I was able to complete the forge boss in 2 turns actually. The last boss I fought against had only a 1 turn delay. So let's take a look and see how this one is. So this one also has only 1 turn. So the way you want to go about this is actually just go ahead with your regular matches and then expect that you are going to lose your health. And it looks like for me I can actually create 2 power gems, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I could, I'll do this. So I'll go ahead and create 2 power gems here. And then what you want to do, so it looks like it created 3, so that's good. And I'm going to lose all my health here. That's okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and revive. And then what I'll do is, this is not going to do anything because I can't actually activate anything with Narfunk. I need to activate 3 times. But I'm going to go ahead and activate Victus. And then I'm just going to go ahead and activate all of the, the power battle skills here, and then go ahead and do a gem swap. And then you'll see that it deals a lot of damage, over 4.4 million, 3 million per card. And just like that, in 2 turns, you're able to take out a forge boss really easily with this deck. Okay, and I know that a lot of people have gotten the Thrall as their card, so you can just ask them to add them as a leader card and, put it to your deck and just, go through all of the forge bosses. So if there's ever any time to go over and go through the forge bosses, now is it. All right, now let's go in and take a look at this feature deck and talk about whether or not this is going to be a good deck to use or not. So while we're on the screen, let's just take a look at excuse me, the event card, which is called the Venera, Warrior of Love. So this card here is going to be very similar to Frankenstein or the Panda, in that what it does is it will do in a 500% attack plus 1500% attack for every 5 stacks of Fable Intensity. So if you take a look at the battle skill, I'm going to actually read it from the beginning. It'll attack once, plus 1 additional attack per 5 heart gems currently on the board. So it actually attack multiple times depending on how many heart gems are there. And then it will go ahead and do this attack where it's 500% attack and then 1500 for every 5 stacks. In addition to that, it will also lower the defense by 2% every time it attacks. And then it'll add 3 Fable Intensity. Now, with the way this sentence is constructed, I don't know if it adds 3 Fable Intensity per attack or just by this battle skill. So that I still need to see, because that could mean for a board that has, let's say, 20 heart gems, you're attacking 5 times total, 1, and then 4 additional times for the number of heart gems. So you could be going up to 12. You can be adding 12 Fable Intensity or 3, depending on how this works. But in any case, this will deal pretty good damage, comparable to how Frankenstein does, because you could attack multiple times. So that's the event card. Now let's go and take a look at the collections, and let's take a look at the free card that you can get, which is Voluptus. She's Cupid's daughter. So her battle skill creates 6 heart gems immediately, and then it'll create 3 earth gems at the beginning of the next turn. And it'll also increase your recovery by 300% for that one turn. It also creates 4 Fable Intensity for turn, which is good because any sort of passive skill that adds intensity is always good for the deck in general because it helps it build up. And so, so far what we've seen is we've seen a card that creates heart gems and also helps with the next turn with the earth gem. And then we've seen the event hero, which kind of does her own thing and just does like a really large single attack. So how does the ultra rare card, Adoring Angel, work here? So her battle skill at 5 stars will convert 2 heart gems into earth gems plus 1 additional gem per 25 Fable Intensity. For every 3 heart gems converted, rounded down, spawns 1 earth power gem 2. Now I am fairly certain that at 6 stars it's going to create power gem 3. I just don't know whether it's going to drop down the intensity requirement from 25 to 20 or to 15. We can take a look at the ultra rare, which is a Rosamund. And what her skill is, it converts 2 heart gems into earth gems plus 1 additional gem per 15 Fable Intensity. And then for every 3 heart gems converted rounded down, it spawns 1 earth power gem 4. So I think hopefully the ultra rare card will go down to 15, although it's more likely it's going to be at 20 Fable Intensity at 6 stars. But what does this mean? So if you think about sort of overall how this would work, there's a couple questions I have. The first one is, if you have Voluptas that creates 6 stars creates 6 heart gems, really I think what you want to do is the best team makeup potentially could be between either having 3 or 4 of these cards. Let's say you have 4 of these cards and you manage to get 1 of the ultra rare card, which is more likely than getting both the ultra rare and the ultra rare, but that's beside the point. So let's say in one scenario you go with 4 of them plus the ultra rare. So with 4 of these cards at 6 stars, when you activate a battle skill, you will create a total of 24 heart gems. And let's just make it 25 to make it, or actually 24 is okay, because I think what you'll do is it will go ahead and when you activate the skill, let's assume you have enough Fable Intensity. You will convert all 24 heart gems into earth gems, and for every 3 heart gems it will create a power gem 3 at 6 stars. With 24 gems that you can convert, that comes out to 8 power gem 3s, and also with a minimum of 24 earth gems. If you can actually swap them, if the gems fall in line and you can swap them, I think you can actually deal about the comparable type of damage that you would see from the previous event, where you could expect to see billions of damage. So maybe not quite in the tens of billions, but I would imagine it to be at least in a couple of billions, and I would imagine it probably close to 1 billion per card. Again, this is just an estimation. I don't know exactly how much, how it's going to be until I look at it. But the problem I have here is it's not clear whether or not the cards themselves will actually compete against each other. So it depends on the wording again. So this card will convert heart gems into earth gem, and then for every 3 heart gems converted, it will spawn earth gem. So there's 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, the card only spawns earth gems for every heart gems that it converts. In which case, both of your ultra rare card here, Rosamund, and your Adoring Angel are going to be competing against each other. So at some point, it doesn't really make sense anymore, because once you have a certain number of hearts and intensity, one card is just going to convert them all, and then the other will do nothing. All right, so that's the first scenario. The second scenario is as long as 3 heart gems are converting to an earth gem, then it will go ahead and create spawn a power gem anyway, which I think would be really overpowered in that case, because in the last scenario I just talked about with 24 heart gems, instead of having 8 power gems, you could have up to 16. So I would imagine it to be the first scenario where you have up to 8 rather than up to 16 in this case, because we're not talking about power gem 1s, we're talking about power gem 3s and 4s. So I would expect that to be the case. So given that, I think it's okay if you don't end up getting multiple of these. I think having one should be sufficient, and this is one of those decks that doesn't actually require Venera in the deck itself. You're more likely to want to run with multiple of these. Now, it's actually not a bad idea. So Jade Tail is another card you can get that she actually generates Power Gem 3s as well. So she's okay. And for Jen the Lotus Spirit, I mean, she's also a Fable unit, so that you'll be able to benefit from the skills. But she will create a Power Gem 3, but she isn't going to spawn the Heart Gems. So in that case, you're kind of losing out here. I think the best combination really is to have as many cards that can spawn Heart Gems as you can, and then use that to help with your Adoring Angel. So that would be sort of the setup for the deck itself. Without the ultra rare, it's just that you're going to have to rely on Venera to deal sort of the single damage, but I think at that point you could probably pair up Jen the Lotus Spirit and other cards to try and help out there. Now let's talk about the cards that I plan on using for this event. So I don't really have a very good Earth Slayer deck at all. I don't have the Halloween deck, and I don't really have the Panda deck. So some of the decks I have used in the past I think could be useful are some of the off-color decks. So in this case, with a Crystal Phoenix and 3 Albinus plus a Fallen One here. In my one of my videos I've done before, I was able to deal a few billion damage with the affinity bonus. So now I will just kind of cut that by half, and I'll still be, I should expect to be able to deal at least up to 1 billion damage here. And same thing with my Circassa deck. Okay, so with Circassa and with a Maelstrom, and using Icarus and Quack here, and also with this one relic, this is where I was sad I didn't get more than one. I think if I got more than one, this would be a no-brainer, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this deck would actually fare in this setup. I'm also going to be running my full Alexa deck for the first time with all 5 corrupt relics, because you can see that the boss, if you look at the Venera, so always look at the event card, it tells you what the guild boss is going to do. It counters Alacrity, so that means the guild boss is going to cast Alacrity. None of my cards really are turn delay cards for this event, so I'm not really worried about getting countered or anything. So I'm going to also try running the Alexa deck, this time full deck with all 5 relics, and seeing how much damage that would deal as well. So I think the cards themselves are, they will work well if you can get the ultra rare. Again, it's one of those situations where by themselves, they're not going to be as useful because they don't spawn power gems. But I think that if you were to get Jade Tail, will be really good for you, and also Jen the Lotus Spirit is a good card to have as well. So it's actually not bad for you to get cards that are off event. And I had Calf Seal as well. It's just that she really just helps light. This is one of those past events where they kind of try to introduce cards that help other decks, other affinities. So in this case, it's really not the greatest. It's just that it does give you a bonus for the Fable heroes. So I would I think I'll be happy if I got Jade Tail, obviously, because then I can complete my set. But if you get Jen the Lotus Spirit, it's not a bad choice either. So that's sort of my assessment here. I think that this deck is capable of dealing billions, but it will require a lot of intensity, because if you wanted to generate enough intensity to convert 24 gems, you're looking at 12 turns without any additional help. But then if you have 4 of these cards running because of the passive, and also with 5 relics, you'll be able to do this in probably 8 turns to 10 turns. But not everyone's going to get 5 relics, so that's the thing to consider, is how long it would take for your intensity to build up. So it's not going to deal the maximum damage I'm talking about here at with 8 power gems. You're more likely going to end up with 3 or 4 on the board with less than full earth gems. So that's something to think about. You may want to bring cards that can convert cards into earth gems as well, just to maximize that. But I think realistically, you're probably going to, if you're not spending, if you end up getting sort of not the full relic set, I'm going to estimate that maybe 1 billion for your deck is going to be pushing it, but I don't really want to speculate too much. I kind of want to see for myself and sort of see what other people do. It's just that based on what I'm seeing, I think the hardest part is going to be collecting intensity, and then but once you have the intensity, then you should be able to complete the guild bosses with no problem at all. So that's the only challenge to overcome, and I'll see how that goes. Anyways, so that's all for this this preview video. Hope it's been helpful, and then let's see when event starts, what it's like, and we'll see whether my my guesses were correct or wrong. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.